Hello, welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast. I'm Mirella,
And I'm Zoe.
and this is a new episode of Potential Obsessions where we're going to react to. What is it, Zoe?
I'm trying to remember the exact name. Is it The Golden Blood? Is that what it's called? I legit can't remember. All of a sudden, I'm having like a mental...
this. You were like, let's do the trailer for this one. I'm like, oh, Zoe remembers the name.
I'm just like, oh, but I just was, you put me on the spot. Yeah, My Golden Blood. I couldn't remember the exact like name of it all of a sudden. I think there is another BL actually, like an old one called The Golden Blood or something like that. Maybe that's why I had it in my mind. So, but no, this is the trailer, the official trailer, which dropped yesterday from GMM. My Golden Blood with Joss and Gawain. That's me clapping if you didn't hear it.
So, is it true? Were you really able to see the cables that they were hung on in the pilot trailer?
In the pilot, yeah. I don't remember if you could actually see the cable because there was this scene.
Could you see the claws being like?
Yeah, like the bit where they end up like with like a front wedgie. No, I think it was the scene between Joss and, oh my god,
Mond.
I was gonna call him Graham.
Yeah.
And I think it was like super dramatic acting from memory from like Mon's part.
Yeah.
But also like they like lifted up in the air from the ground and it just looked really like 1990s Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like bad stunts and stuff. And so I was like, I remember watching the trailer and being excited because first off I was like, oh my god, Joss is doing a BL. And then secondly, Joss and Gawain, wow. And then
where do we know Joss from? Do I know him from somewhere? I don't think so, but I see you being so excited to see him in a BL, then it sounds like you've seen him in something.
Well, in actual fact, I don't actually know that I've necessarily seen him in. I mean, I probably have, but because I haven't watched a lot of like GMM's mainstream or like other mainstream like dramas or lacons or whatever. Like I've watched a few of them, but I know my mum's seen him in a lot of things. Like there's one called, oh god, what's it called? See, this is what happens.
Well, it looks like he was a guest. He had a guest role in Midnight Museum, and I definitely watched that one. But
yeah, maybe that's it.
I do not know who he played there.
He was in the player with Tay, as in like Tay Nute. I think I remember seeing him in that. I never did finish watching that. I should watch that. Oh, he was also in a show called 3 Will Be Free, which was kind of like an interesting one, also with Tay in it. And he was in
a polyamorous relationship, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's one I never actually watched either, but I'm sure there's some like
some famous stuff he was in, right? Okay,
yeah,
well,
there's some like that my mum was obsessed with, and so, but I knew him just because I paid attention to like the GMM boys, and he was often, around or talked about with Off-Gun and like stuff like that, interactions and stuff. But I knew he was not a BL actor. Like he's one of if you'd asked me at a GMM who hadn't done BLs who would make a BL, I would not have chosen him. I would like there's a couple that I would have been really surprised about. He was one, and Luke is another one who I didn't think would ever do BL.
I see. Well, so, on the other side of things, we both know Gawain from Not Me. I didn't really like Dan, his character. I mean, he is interesting, but he's not a favorite of mine. I mean, we're having fun with his character. With the love story. Now that we're rewatching Not Me and analyzing it, it's quite Twilighty. But I loved him in You're My Favorite. I loved him so much. Like I think
same. I think the thing with Gawain is I think he's a really good underrated actor, and like, even though I wasn't a huge fan of his character in Not
Mhm.
Me, the first time well, not the first time, but, like, the first, like, 20 times I watched it,
Mhm.
um, I'm like, let's be truthful here. I still thought he did a really good job. Like, the
Mhm.
scene, in Not Me where, um Yoke is drawing him and he just starts crying and stuff. Like, I was floored when I watched that scene for the first time because I hadn't really seen him in anything before, and I thought, wow, this guy's
Mhm.
really good. And then, like you, I loved him in Be My Favorite. I just thought it was really cute, and I really liked the pairing of Chris and him as well. Like, I thought they had good chemistry. I know a lot of people didn't, but
Oh, they
unpopular
definitely did.
opinion, I thought they did really good.
He was charming and Be My Favorite. His character was very
Mm.
lovable and interesting, complex, but he played very well. I think there was quite a lot of nuance to his acting. I don't know
And I
if
think,
it's because just because it's a different role and I perceived
mhm.
him differently. It's a different story, different circumstances, a different vibe, but maybe his acting actually got even better.
Yeah, I think this is one of the reasons why I think he's quite good, and that is because you're right. There are lots of nuances because of the way that not film, the way that show is structured, where like it keeps changing and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Like, his character is changing constantly, like, but at the core of it's not. But there are, like, aspects of him that's changing and stuff, and so, like, because
In
of
a
the
very
circumstances,
obvious
or
way, yeah, in a
yeah,
very obvious,
and
because that's
so
the whole point of this or the show, that the main character travels back and forth in time, and he observes how his actions modify his reality. So yeah, that is the whole
yeah.
point of noticing how he changes. But
But
also,
there are
I see
also
that
these
he's in Perfect Liners. Have you seen him there already?
perfect 10-liners.
Yeah. Oh, he has a
Who? What
support
character?
role.
What character does he play in that?
I don't know.
I've
Okay,
been
all
watching
right.
it
So
from the.
if
Oh
you don't remember,
no,
let's
yes,
move on.
no, yes, no. I do. Sorry, it's because it's a while ago.
Oh,
In the first quarter, or not quarter, third of the series, with the fourth book, he's one of um. I'm always getting them confused. Which one's which? He's one of Force's characters' friends, I believe.
uh-huh.
Yeah. And no, I did enjoy watching him in there. I just forgot. I'm trying to think because there's quite a few characters in there. Because of course, obviously, there's like main couples, and then there's like all their friendship groups and
Uh-huh.
stuff. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of He was part of one of the
Okay.
friendship groups.
Okay,
But
so
yeah,
I hope this one is popular and we have a lot of fun with it and he gets more main roles in the future.
yeah,
But let's
I'm
see.
really super curious to see their dynamic as well. Like long term. Like, I mean, obviously we got a bit of a glimpse of it during the pilot, and obviously we'll get to see some more of it here. But just like considering that GMM are doubling down and investing in them as a couple pairing because they're also in the new the second season
Only
of
friends.
Only Friends. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I remember when GMM were doing their trailers. I was like, their pilots for like this year and next year. I was like, oh my god, that was not what I was expecting at all.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it should be good. But I feel like this one. I think it'll be good either way because it's either going to be really good, like in the genre and everything, and GMM will actually have invested and there'll be some good special effects, or it'll be really bad special effects and so it'll be funny. So I feel like either way it's gonna work.
Okay,
But
so
I kind of hope they go serious with it. So I guess the
yeah.
only way to know is to watch the trailer and find out.
You haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Let's
I
go watch
haven't
it.
seen it, no. All
Let's
right,
go.
let's do it.
So first of all, the first thing that came into my mind when watching this was a Bloody Mary in the evening. Because it's a
I love
brunch
it.
drink.
I love that that's your thing. My thing was okay. My thing was kind of like superficial is the wrong word. Maybe pervy is the right word. I don't know. But there's a scene sort of in the middle of the trailer where they're like outside, I guess by the pool or something, and Joss is wearing this little tiny blue bathing suit. And in Australia, right, we call those budgie smugglers because it looks like you shoved a bird down the front of your pants. And they're not like, they're not a bathing suit that you wear here if you like what's the word? How do I put this? I don't know. You just don't wear them. Like guys wear like swimming trunks. Only certain kind of people wear those. And so I found that very distracting. I was like straight away I was like, wait, what? Because I haven't seen them in the wild before. No, I have, but not for a while, you know. And I was just like just slightly disturbed and slightly distracted. So that was like, I got halfway through it and I was like really paying attention, and then that distracted me, and then I kind of I lost my focus for a little bit, but I watched it 2 or 3 more times and I was okay after that. But my first initial thing was I kind of felt slightly attacked by it. Is the best way to put it. But
Zoe,
and my other thing,
didn't it give you some major Twilight vibes? I mean, with there's no way you can escape us, like, no way you cannot drown me. With golden blood, and it's like type of heroin for the vampires and blah blah blah, and I'm gonna save you and blah.
The bit, this sped up like run and
that's
we grabbed him and then threw them out the window, like, was so Twilight for me.
Yes, and he saved him probably because like he got caught and everyone in the building was a vampire, and so he understood that he was going to get attacked. So obviously he jumped out. But
I really liked the way they shot that though, like how he cut himself, and it was clearly like even though he was like, oh, I've cut myself so bad I'm gonna bleed to death, it was obviously like a very small cut, but just to like have that scene and then have it like switch to them all downstairs in like this party area or whatever, and just everybody like turns at the same time was very well done. I thought I liked that. I was like, ooh.
Another thing that reminded me of Twilight. I'm sorry if this irritates any of our listeners, but you know, this is what I feel.
You know what? Like I low-key like Twilight, so you know it's had its place in our history.
I like Twilight. I'm planning on buying the book. Anyway, so the other moment that reminded me of Twilight was the moment when, I don't know, were they fighting in like a gym room or some kind of a deposit room, and I thought, oh, it's the ballet room reference. You know?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I also don't know like what the location was, because I like At
first I thought it was a gym room, but then it kind of looked like they were storing stuff there. Like there was a lot of stuff around. But
I wonder. I thought it was like a warehouse, but it had that same sort of like dark vibe. You know, like the gray kind of like, you know, something bad's gonna happen there vibe. Like the colorist was like, let's make it as moody as possible.
The chemistry is definitely good between the characters. The music was cute. The cinematography was so I miss the multiple camera, you know, perspective moments, the different shots, you know how it was in the first episode of Not Me. Like you know they spent a lot of time doing that, but you can feel that it's a quality thing, you know, because there was the moment, for example, when he was running to like I guess to complain to a police officer or something, and it was filmed from like a corner of the room, and it was very static, and I just it was a very short scene, but I felt like it was just boring. And so in some moments the cinematography was very good, like for example the moment where Joss's character was on a bus station and it was raining. It was gorgeous the way it was filmed.
That was really good.
But some of them felt like they
he's
didn't
not commenting on the fact that he had no shirt on, but yes, it was very good.
Yes, but some of them felt very grayish and static, and it was like the colorist did not do a very great job, and then the camera
Yeah.
operators did not do a very
I think
good job, or maybe they
yeah,
did not have enough money.
yeah. I think there's 3 things to consider with this. I must admit, I didn't read too much into any of that just yet. Like, I think I'll reserve till I watch
Okay,
the first
you don't,
episode
but
because
remember this, the trailer. Compare this to the trailer that we watched for. I'm not sure how it was called. There was this trailer for a vampire series, also Thai series that we watched a while ago. It wasn't a BL.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, I know the one you're talking about. We weren't sure whether it was a BL or not, I think.
I think it was not
Yeah,
a
that was
BL.
really good.
But
I think that trailer though to me felt like it had a lot more budget than this trailer.
yes, yeah,
Like
you could
this,
definitely feel that the budget was not
yeah,
big.
because I think this one the and also I feel like as well like the thing that to me that came across that it seemed like they were trying to push in this trailer is the like opulence and the fact that like they're elite and they're
Mm-hmm.
rich, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they've probably funded on that sort of stuff, like the big hotel and the whatever. Whereas I
Mm-hmm.
think that other one that you're talking about, like it was all kind of underground secret society sort of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
they like met in like an old church and like, so it was a different, probably like they spent their money on different things like when they were making it as well. But I think with this one, I think there's a couple of things. I think, as I said, it may be a budget thing, so maybe the first episode we might see more of like what you're after. Also, I think the other 2 things that could hinder certain scenes, although it seems like there's no restriction on going outside for these
Mm-hmm.
vampires. Like, I wonder what the law is on that. So there's potential for daylight scenes to have some nice cinematography, but with the like vampire stuff, when it's like a lot of that's going to be probably quite dark because it's the night.
Ooh,
It's like that. I feel like that's probably potentially a thing. And also, given GMM's potential budget for special effects, and I actually think they did quite a good job of the throwing out the window and all that. I was quite surprised about that.
I just,
I
I
feel
just,
like if you're starting adding extra cameras and you're shooting different shots of the same stunt and that, that might be beyond their budget.
I just had an idea.
Yeah.
Did you understand why his blood is so special?
Well, not in this as such, but I remember vaguely from the original pilot. I
Uh huh.
think the idea was that if his blood could make them like really immortal, and like any of the limitations that they had
Oh,
could
because
make them more
I
powerful.
just had an idea and I thought that was so smart because I thought, what if the golden blood makes them invulnerable to sunlight? But,
Well, it
well,
could. I mean, he's clearly going to be sampling it, and I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? Because his whole thing is like no one would be able to like resist, draining you, but obviously he does. So,
mhm,
I mean, I suppose it's different. That's the whole thing with vampire lore, isn't it? If you love, supposedly, if it's a love story, if they love them, it's the power of love. The power
mhm.
of love will make you stop from draining your lover. um but yeah, I'm definitely interested because I'm a sucker for like supernatural type stuff anyway, so the idea of a vampire BL just sounds like so much fun to me. um
Yeah,
but
it is.
and I loved and I hope I'm not going to say something dumb here because I'm not familiar with the actor that he ran into when he was running away, I think in like one of the first bits. It looks like a kid to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're
It
talking
looks
about.
small. So if they're not a kid, I apologize, but it
Hmm.
looks like a kid to me. I'm not. I loved that they did that. Like I love that they haven't just used like all of the usual suspects. And by that I mean like the usual actors you see all the
Hmm.
time. And that like everyone's not the same age.
Hmm.
Um, I love how they wrote it was very Interview with the Vampire for me to have a
Hmm.
kid. And who's clearly like completely unrestrained because when he ran into him, he was covered in blood and that already. So he's already been doing something he shouldn't have. Whereas the other vampires you see just before that are all like, at some sort of party or gala or something, and everyone's like wearing suits and they're all looking very, in control. So I liked that having that kind of, switch and seeing like this
Mm-hmm.
potential kid with, you know, like the wildness. So
For me, it looked a bit inconsistent, the trailer, because some scenes were done well, some were lacking. And for example, I remembered another one when there was someone standing at his bed. Also, it was like it was not dark enough, or it was like unclear what exactly they were trying to do there. Because I feel like the trailer is supposed to give you a taste of what the series will be like, to let you know what the vibe is. And in some moments, I think I understood what they were trying to do. And in some other moments, I was not sure that that was what they were trying to tell me, the information that I was receiving. But what I definitely decided for myself already is that this story has a lot of potential. It makes a lot of sense for a story about vampires to be queer. It's also a lot of fun to try a GMM story with vampires because it's about sexuality, it's about desire, it's about temptation, about forbidden fruits and stuff like that. The fun stuff, death and life and the big questions, right? So
and sacrifice and all the rest of it, all those fun things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny. If it's funny actually, like I said when I was talking about the kid and I said it's very Into the Vampire, for me I was referring to the movie. I also have not seen the TV show version, but I keep meaning to and I just haven't gotten around to it. I think the other thing that surprised me with it is it does seem like it's that, like in the trailer they did kind of push that sexual intimacy vibe with it too, which makes sense because like the whole sucking of the blood and all, it's all very sexual. Vampire stuff is all very sexual. It just is. It's part of the genre. And so I wasn't surprised to see it. What I was surprised is that it's only going to be airing on GMM and not somewhere else. Like I was expecting them to do the whole cut uncut thing that GMM seem to be really big fans of at the moment. But it seems strange to me that they're only airing on YouTube because obviously you can have higher rated stuff on YouTube, but there are limitations too. So I was a little bit surprised because they seem to be angling it in a certain way, because they showed you more than one scene of them in positions of like intimacy. So I was that kind of surprised me. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually do with that. Like how creative they are with it, without like it being all about that, but just how they utilize that as part of the story. But also I was pleasantly surprised with the special effects they used. I found the eyes a bit the contacts a little bit startling in the beginning, but once I got used to them, it was fine. I feel like it's one of those things. Once you get used to, something in something like that, it'll become a part of those vampires. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's all different. Yeah, it's all different lore and all different, shows or movies or whatever all have their own things. But I was not expecting them to be yellow like that. I think because I was back in the day, I was a big Supernatural fan, and yellow eyes means demons. So I was a bit taken back, but I did like
Twilight
that
yellow
they kind
eyes
of
mean vegetarians.
Yeah. I did like that the yellow contacts seem to have a red ring around the outside, which is interesting, like almost like a bleed into the eye, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I'm very interested to see them as a pairing. And also in this, as you said, in this genre, this was a thing. This was a big thing at the beginning.
God.
What?
I'm sorry for interrupting. I just realized no one flew in this trailer. Is this correct to say?
We had he fell out of a window.
Well, he did, but we did not have anyone levitating.
No.
I wonder.
What I did, I'm gonna. I'll be interested to see, because this is the thing. You know how you said about the trailer you were expecting certain things because the trailer is used for a purpose. It's like the pilot. The pilot's usually used to, well, one, to get us interested, to give us a rough idea of what they're planning, but also to get funding and, backers and all that sort of stuff. There were definitely things in the original pilot that I really liked. There seemed to be a lot more humor in the original pilot as well. Like there's something like Neo's character does something and basically gets killed straight away, whereas that doesn't seem to be the case in this. He actually I actually thought in this pilot, in this trailer, and I could be wrong, but to me it looked like Neo was actually Gaywen's character's friend, whereas in the pilot it looked like he was another vampire. So I'm confused by that, but that's, as I said, that may have changed. The story may have changed.
Maybe he gets
I don't know if this
transformed at some point.
Maybe. And I don't know whether or not this is based on a book or not. I'm not sure with this one. I'm assuming it probably is, that most of them are. And I'm not familiar with the book, so I don't know the story if that's the case. But what was very clear both in the pilot and in this is that Mond is the villain.
Yeah.
He's going to be our, like, power mad, power hungry vampire. And so yeah, there was some things that were in the pilot that I kind of vaguely remember that I really liked, and they were the things that intrigued me, and I think they were missing from the trailer. So I don't know whether that just means that they aren't doing that anymore, or they decided not to include it because they've already shown it to us. I don't really know. Like, and what you were saying, sometimes there were some bits that were a bit like disjointed or whatever, but I also wonder if that's, I don't know, it's 3 minutes short, I reckon. Like most trailers, are they a little bit longer these days, aren't they? Like 5 minutes or something? Or am I just getting
it's a good
confused?
thing, because I don't like it when they spoil the whole series in the trailers.
No, true.
If anyone hasn't yet, please watch the trailer for 28 years later. It's a masterpiece, that trailer. I think people should, people who create trailers should watch that too, as an example of a good creative trailer. Because I think I don't know, have you noticed, Zoe, like lately it's becoming kind of an art within of itself again, the trailer, because there's a period
I found that
when
trailer extremely disturbing.
Oh, you have?
I found it disturbing.
Have I sent it to you? Have I mentioned it to you?
No, I just watched it.
Well, because it's a fucking horror movie. It should be. It's like, it's just, that's how it's supposed to be. It's amazing.
But then that's it, isn't it? It's done its job, because it like disturbed me.
Yeah.
So I know I watched it because I'm familiar. I've watched all the movies in that franchise. So I was like, oh, a new one, and then I started watching the trailer, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
But I'll totally watch it when it comes out, even though I was like, I don't know. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. For sure.
I mean, I don't mean that every movie, every series must have a trailer like that. Obviously, that is a format that fits that movie. Yeah, especially because you already know what it's going to be about. You know about the first two movies. Like, there's a whole thing, history there. But it's just that, like, we watch that, like, you see that trailer and it gives you a taste, but it does not spoil.
Yeah, it's more like hints of things,
and it's
to
very
come
creative.
rather than like,
yeah.
I must admit that is something. I sit on the fence, because I don't like to be spoiled, but I also love it's like the intro themes as well. Like, I am not a huge fan of the ones where it's just like the actors like in photos or like whatever. I much prefer like the ones like, for example, like with Not Me, where there's like little glimpses of the scenes. Now, some people maybe don't like that, and as you said, like with the pilot, with the trailer too much in there, you get spoiled. But part of my fun as well when I watch these things is trying to work out when we're going to get those scenes. Like, I remember the first time like watching Not Me, like I kept waiting for certain scenes. I was like, oh, when's this? And then when they finally happened, I was like, oh my god, this is it. So I sit on the fence, because I kind of, I have fun with that. But then at the same time, like, yeah, I don't want to be spoiled. And also that is also a double-edged sword because sometimes they put stuff in the trailer and then it's not in the show.
Well, it's, you know
And
what?
so
It's actually, it could be fun. It could be a little thing like an alternative dimension or something, because you can get for example, you can get creative. For example, I watched this show that I'm quite obsessed with called Story of Cunning Palace, and it's about transmigration. So the heroine lives her life, she does stuff, and then she dies, and then she's transported back in time. And every time the episode begins, you kind of get like a montage of her first life and the whole drama, like the biggest moments, reminding you where she's been and what she's trying to prevent. So I was very invested in that intro. Like, it's very creative and it fits the series, and I like it when they do that. You know, when they get they do something differently and something that fits the series that they're doing. So it depends. If they get creative with this one, it's great, you know, good for them. If not, well,
I also
guess.
Yeah.
What's your
I also kind of wonder, like, maybe as well it's a time thing too, because I'm so surprised that this is like, they're like, here's this trailer, that because this is a show that's like, what, now almost 2 years in the waiting to be watched, kind of a year and a half anyway, and they're like, here, have this trailer, and it's like starting in 2 weeks time. So I don't know, it kind of feels very rushed all of a sudden. Like, they've had all this time, and then now suddenly they're like, here, have this that we just
but this is what they usually do, don't they?
They do. But there's usually a little bit of an inkling, and maybe there was. I don't sit in that fandom, so I don't really know.
I'm not sure.
You know,
I'm not
people
sure.
knew that it was the pilot was being shot, for example.
Based on my latest experiences with JMM, they air the official trailer, and then 2 weeks later the series starts airing.
That's probably accurate. I think my thing is I haven't heard anything or seen anyone talking about like them filming anything. So it kind of just came out of nowhere for me. So I wondered how quickly they put it together or whatever. Well, and then we know the GMM do these things on the fly as well.
Gavin, Josh fans with this information.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're a fan of theirs and you're listeners, don't hesitate to write to us. You can, respond to Spotify,
inform us. Let us know.
Write on Twitter or Tumblr. I am also curious.
I think because as I said, it's just I didn't see it anywhere. Whereas it's funny, like Mum and I watched the first part of Forever With You, which I know you haven't seen, Morella, but and then we were watching they did like a fan meeting concert thing, which we watched on Saturday, and it was getting towards the end, and I said to Mum, now if they were really clever, they'll show the pilot trailers for like the next part, because there's going to be more to it. And I knew that they had been filming it because I've been following certain actors and that from it. So I knew, like, I'd seen photos and stuff that had been posted. So I was aware that it had happened. But I didn't think that they would have had enough time to pull it all together, because it was like the photos that I saw were in like a week or two earlier and stuff. And I was thinking that's pretty quick time frame turnaround, whatever. But they actually did manage to pull it out, and they had the trailers all ready to, or pilots rather, all ready to go, and that was something they aired at the end, so that was kind of cool. It's interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I must admit, the first time I watched it, I was trying to be like, mature and pay attention, and then the bathing suit kind of distracted me. And then the second time I was like, Zoe, you can do this. I'm like a little out of practice. Like, be mature. And then I was like, I don't think our listeners are really here for that anyway. They're not used to me being mature. So, but I tried, and then because I watched it, I think 3 times. And then the third time I watched it, I found myself smiling. So it was really funny. So the first time I was like, ooh, cool. I'm so excited to watch this. The second time I was like, into the mythos and the lore and the like where they were going with it, and then and then the third time, like, kind of the romance of it, I guess, got me because I spent the third watch through with like a smile on my face, like my cheeks were like a little, stiff at the end of it because I was grinning the whole way through, and I'm like, I don't know, and I finished watching. I think I don't know why I'm grinning. This one has a really good potential for like major torture. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Because depending on
that.
what the story is and where it goes, like the one thing I took from what they were saying, and as I said, this is without knowing any of the background of the story or anything, is that they seem to be indicating that um Joss's character spending a prolonged amount of time with Gawain's character was not good for him. So I don't know what that means. Like, is him restraining himself being around him, is that like a bad thing, or is it that he gets used to, like, I don't know, like whatever they're implying. And
Oh,
then you had Gawain's cat, and you basically had someone saying you can't see him anymore, like um to Joss's character, like you shouldn't see
oh,
him
I missed
anymore.
that.
Yeah, and then you had Gawain's character saying, "If it will save you or make you better, then I'm not going to go anywhere." So like you had this like self-sacrificing thing from both sides happening, and like when that happens, who knows where that's going to go, because you know potentially you're like, what's the story here, like what's the ultimate message that they're going to try and portray to us, like is it, like you was talking before about all the different themes that it has and stuff like that, like what's the ultimate message going to be? Is there going to be one, I guess? Is it going to be something like, because at the end of the day, he's a vampire, and like his thing is to drink blood. Do you trust someone enough with your super magical special blood to, to not hurt you, to like whatever? But I mean, it's the same. It's a metaphor, isn't it, for like, I guess your heart or your trust or whatever. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it, I guess. But that, yeah, there was a sort of an implication that um either being around him was dangerous, but the danger wasn't clear. So, is it making him sick? Is he? Uh,
I missed that moment. I thought it
yeah.
was dangerous for Gavin's character because everyone will find out that you know Joss's character is keeping a golden blood human, and everyone
Yeah.
will want him. And I thought that it was
Well,
doing actually Joss's character good to have Gavin's character around because he can drink his blood and just get healthier or something like that, get the benefits from the golden blood. But yeah, you're right, it
yeah.
has a lot of potential, and depending on how they're going to present these characters, depending on the issues that they're going to face in society and their lives, I guess we'll get the themes. Sacrifice, of course, love, but I don't know, like getting becoming an adult, something about sexuality, I don't know, it depends. It depends on what they want to go with it, and actually, and also depending on how deep and how far they're going to go, we'll see. Maybe there's a potential for season 2 for golden blood new moon for season 3. Golden blood eclipse, we'll see.
Oh no! And then they'll slide into the Amigaverse, and like suddenly they'll be having a baby. Sorry, I had to because you were going there with the Twilight. Yeah. So because in the trailer, so Joss's character's name is Mark, and then Fleet Gawain's character is Tong, and in the trailer, someone who I assume is like, I don't know, she seemed like a mother figure or like the head of the
clan or something.
I don't know, coven, I guess. I don't know, that's the wrong word. They coven as witches, but I can't think what the word for vampires is. There is a word, I think, but I can't think what it is.
I would say clan, but
yeah, clan is probably more accurate than coven. She says something like, this is the last time you should see Tong, or something like that. So she's advising him. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if you watch it again. To me, it kind of read like that it was not good for him. But what that meant, I don't know, because it might not be a health thing. It could be a temptation thing. It could be, as you said, it could be a danger thing for. But it seemed to be implying that for Mark's character, it wasn't good for him. So, but then on the off side of that, you saw him not being well, kind of looking weak, I guess. And then Galen was like, or Tong rather, was like, if me being here is going to, so it might also be that like they might be going to go for because the other thing that's in like vampire lore quite often and stuff are things like, like fated partnerships and stuff like that. So if that is, it might be that, the only person who could drink his blood and not like drain him or whatever would be like his love. And so it might also be that like if you separate them, that it's, that could make Mark, or rather Joss's character, sick or weaker because he's stronger when they're together or something like that. But if that's the law they're going to go with, then people who don't understand their connection, like this, taboo kind of relationship or whatever that's forming between them, may not understand the significance of them being together. And also that also adds a danger too, as you said, if they can get strength. If he can get strength from Gawain's character without actually having to drink his blood, then that would make him even more formidable to someone, say, like Mond, who, to be able to get the benefits, would have to actually drink the blood. It depends on the writer's lore, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's why I like vampire stuff and things like that, because there's so much potential, because you can just make shit up.
Well, we'll see. Let's see where they go with it. So,
yeah,
I guess this is it.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you for spending your time with us. I hope you had fun with this episode. We know it's been a long time.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
It was probably slightly chaotic because we were a bit like...
Oh, there was a lot we wanted to say. Yeah. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.